All right, so this lesson is on solving ratio type equations. So I've got two examples here. So basically what you'll see is there's two fractions on either side of the equal sign. So to solve equations like this, we have to use the procedure of cross multiplication. So what we do is we take the top left of the equation, so top left, and that gets multiplied by the bottom right. So I'm just going to show that we're multiplying the top left, and we multiply it by the bottom right. And you're going to take that and put it on the left side of the equation. Then we take the top right, which is the -3, and you multiply it with the bottom left, and you put it on the right side of the equation. So let's do that. So we're taking x times 2 and we're going to put it on the left side of the equation. So x times 2 or 2 times x, that's just 2x. And I'm going to put that on the left-hand side of the equation, just like that. And then I'm going to take my top right and I'm going to multiply it with my bottom left. So 6 times -3. 6 times -3, I'm just going to show that here like this, that I've taken that and I've multiplied it together. Now I can go ahead and continue now and solve for x. So 2x is equal to 6 times -3, which is -18. After this, it's just a type 1 equation. I'm just going to divide by 2 on both sides to solve for x. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 2x divided by 2 leaves me with just x, and then -8 divided by 2 gives me -9. All right, so there is my answer. X is equal to -9. All right, let's take a look at our second example here. Here we have 3x plus 5, and we have to multiply it by 2. So again, the procedure is the same. You take the top left, and you're going to multiply it with the bottom right. The top left and bottom right, I'm going to multiply those two together. All right, and I'm just going to show that here. So it becomes 2 times 3x plus 5, like that. And I've placed it on the left-hand side of the equation. Next, I'm going to take my top right, which is the 7, and I'm going to multiply it with 4, like that, and I'm going to place that on the right-hand side of the equation, and I'm just going to show that I'm multiplying 4 times 7, just like that. All right, once you've done that, now you can start working on distributive property, which is you take this 2, it has to multiply, the 2 has to multiply everything inside of the bracket. All right, so 2 times the 3x, and then 2 times the 5, 2 times 3x, and 2 times 5, like that. So that gives me 6x. 2 times 3x is 6x, and then 2 times positive 5 is plus 10. So we get 6x equals 10 on the left-hand side of the equation, and on the right side we have 4 times 7, which is 28. And now it looks like a type 2 equation. We have 2 more steps left to solve for x. So the first thing we always have to do is the opposite of addition and subtraction. So here we have plus 10. So the opposite of that is to subtract 10. All right, so on the left-hand side now we are just left with 6x. The 10 and the minus 10 equals 0. So left-hand side is 6x, and it's equal to 28 minus 10, which is 18. All right, so now we have 6x equals 18. It's 6 times x, so the opposite of that would be to divide. So we're going to divide by 6 on both sides. And 6x divided by 6 gives me just x. And 18 divided by 6 is 3. So x is then equal to 3. All right, so when we have a ratio type equation like this, and we have brackets, we will work with the brackets first, do the distributive property before we start the cross multiplication. So we'll take this -8 and multiply it with everything inside that bracket, and take that -2 and multiply it with everything inside the bracket there. Okay, so -8 times x, that gives me -8x, and then -8 times 3 is -24, and then it's over 2. And on this side, we have -2 times x, which is -2x, and then -2 times 5, which is -10, and it's over 3. And then once you've done that, then you can go ahead and do the cross multiplication. So top left with bottom right, we'll multiply those together, and the top right will multiply together like this. Top right with the bottom left. Okay, so that will give me on the left-hand side, it's 3 times -8x minus 24, and it's equal to 2 times -2x minus 10. Okay, and then we'll have to do distributive property here again. So multiply the 3 with everything inside the bracket, and this 2 has to multiply everything inside that bracket. All right, so we end up with -24x. Then we have -24 times 3, which is -72 or -72. 2 times -2x is -4x. And then 2 times -10, it is -20. After this, we can move our x over to the left-hand side, isolate our x so that we can solve 4x. So we can add 4x to both sides. And it's going to move over to here. So here we have -24 plus 4, which gives me -20. Minus 72 is equal to -20. All right, so we'll just show here that your -4x plus 4x is 0. All right, on this side then, I can add the 72 to both sides. So that leaves me, sorry, I just messed up my x there. That leaves me with -20x is equal to -20 plus 72, which is 52. And we just have to divide by -20 now, both sides. And that leaves me with our answer, 52 divided by -20, which is -2.6. All right, so our next example, we have 5x plus 2 over 7x plus 1, and it's equal to 3 over 4. So we'll take our top left, multiply it by bottom right. We'll multiply those two together, which is going to look like 4 times 5x plus 2. And then on the right side of the equation, we have 3 being multiplied by the 7x plus 1. So 3 times 7x plus 1. All right, next step now would be the distributive property. So you have to take this 4, multiply it by everything inside the bracket. So that leaves me with 20x. 4 times 5x is 20x, and then 4 times 2 is plus 8. Same thing on the right side of the bracket. We take the 3, multiply it by 7x, take that 3, multiply it by 1, and that gives me 21x plus 3. All right, and now it's like a type 3 equation. So we just have to bring our x on one side of our equation and our numbers on the other side of the equation. So I'll subtract 20x here, and subtract 20x here. That way my x will be positive. So on my left-hand side, I have 8 is equal to 21 minus 20, which is just 1x, plus 3, and then I'll just subtract 3 on both sides. 8 minus 3 is 5, so 5 is equal to x.